We're like, oh, did you work 14 hours today? Well, no. Well, what's wrong with you? You know, what was that quote I saw the other day? If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up space.
Really? Wow.
It's like,
okay.
Good grief.
That feels like a lot of pressure.
Let's roll. We're live.
We're live.
We're healthy.
Yay. We think we're healthy.
Well,
there's always more to gain.
It's that time of year, although depends on when you're actually listening to this, but you know, people talk about the new year and resolutions, and a lot of it centers around health. We're going to talk about health today. And one thing that my partner Jennifer talks about is energy. When I think that's just really a cool thing to talk about when it comes to health. Because friends of mine say, oh, hey, Happy New Year, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. And I'm going to do this, that, and another thing. But what's underlying that? And so I think it's really kind of interesting how you approach that. So share a little bit about it, and let's maybe let people understand how we can bring this full circle for entrepreneurs, because I think it is an underlying factor of how people succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're recording this in January, but it doesn't matter when you hear this. It's all about goals. What are your goals? And while I do love New Year's resolutions, it's kind of fun to reset. It's enjoyable. You know, we all come up with, or I like to come up with monthly goals. I like to keep it short and sweet and make some traction. And so I remember reading maybe but Valerie Bertinelli's books. And she said, oh man, I'm on my 5th year of setting a goal to lose 20 pounds. and I'm not accomplishing it clearly since I'm on my 5th year. And so she changed her goal, and I don't remember what she changed it to, but she feels, you know, there's nothing worse than setting a goal and then having such a hard time to hit it. It's such a demotivator.
Yeah.
And I was kind of, you know, in the same place. I'm like, well, I'm postmenopausal. I'm 10 pounds more than my usual. Let me just set the goal to lose 10 pounds a couple of years ago. No, it just does not work, especially in this day and age.
Because you didn't know that was the goal, but did you have a system for how am I going to do it?
Oh, it's your typical, but it doesn't work in menopause. And we all know this at this point. You know, I was going back to what allowed me to maintain such a great weight before, you know, eating all the right stuff and getting the right sleep and managing my stress and all that good stuff. And so I'm carrying that forward. And as things change, as you get older, you have to do different stuff.
Interesting.
And the way I am now presenting it back to myself, which mindset's so important, is, you know, I just want to have more energy this year. And what that does is it first of all broadens out, what am I going to do this month to acquire more energy? And
that's a feeling you have, or it's just, I want to be at that baseline all the time?
Yeah. Did I feel energetic? And I have a little journal that I fill out both at the beginning, half of it at the beginning of the day and half of it at the end of the day. And it really is built on energy, because at the end of the day, and even at the beginning of the day, if you have a lot of energy, you're going to feel pretty good about your day.
And is this something you write down?
I do.
It's paper and pen, or it's on your phone?
Paper and pen. Yeah. I'm a paper and pen kind of girl.
What are some common entries to that?
So one of the things I like to do is say, you know, what am I going to be really good at today?
Okay.
You know, for example, we are recording our podcast. I want to be really good at recording this podcast today. And maybe I have a meeting later this afternoon that's really important. I want to knock it out of the ballpark in that meeting.
And so you'll write that down.
I will write that down.
Cool. That's
very
really
simple stuff.
I actually never knew you did that.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good stuff.
Yep.
And so you reflect at the end of the day as well. And what if you've started to run out of steam? What happens?
Yeah. What did I do? That's a great question. What did I do that made me feel like my energy was just sucked from me? A lot of times on a daily level, it's pretty easy to figure out. The nice thing about writing it down is now I can flip through that book, right, and start to identify, what are the trends? What is sucking the life out of me? So what do I need to get rid of out of my life? If
so
it's
that's
possible?
a thing. I just don't want to do that anymore.
I just can't do that
or that
anymore.
person or that situation or what have you. I'm either going to get in front of it or I'm just going to eliminate it.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it.
What about you? You have New Year's resolutions?
I typically don't do them. I think it's more around what is the whole year going to look like and then how do I get there? And I break it into fitness. Of course, within fitness is I want to sustain a weight. I want to either be stronger, be faster, be something or other. And then it's like, how do you get there? Versus just this vague, okay, I'm going to be there at the end of the year. And so I track, it's just like you, only on, I write stuff down in this little field notes every day.
Yes, you love your field notes.
Love my field notes.
I love that.
And I love a fountain pen, which people are like, God, are you from like the 1700s? But it's like, there's something about it when you write down on that paper.
What is a fountain pen versus a regular pen for folks listening?
So it takes an effort. You pick it up.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of heft to it.
Yep.
And there's a process of unscrewing it where you're like, I'm about to do something here that has some meaning.
Yep.
I know it sounds kind of corny.
It doesn't.
But then when you put this to paper, there's just both a formality and a process to it where I'm like, now I'm connecting to this thing.
I love that.
Where I find if I have a ballpoint pen or a pencil or, something's different about it.
You're not thinking anymore.
I'm not thinking. And there's maybe that
give you that joy.
10th of a second pause where you're absolutely thinking about what you're about to write down. And then it's just a stream of consciousness. But I reflect back on it. Is it related to most of my personal goals are just, I want to sustain the weight. I want to have something that I'm targeting toward all the time. And it might be, I want to lose some weight or I want to improve my flexibility. And like you, I'm not familiar with menopause, obviously, but it's like at my age, what's the most important thing? And it is flexibility and the ability to just have stability, which means, okay, I got to do other stuff in your 60s and 70s and 80s that you didn't do when you were 30, 40, 50. And I still play hockey a couple times a week. And to do that, even though I always joke, they only let me play because I bring the waters. But it's like you've got to have flexible hips, hamstrings, glutes, and cardio.
Yeah.
Where I'm playing against 30-year-olds, I can't keep up with them, but there are things I can do different to just sustain that they don't.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep doing that, And so all of that boils down to, at the end of the year, am I still playing hockey? Am I still running? Am I still sustaining my weight? Blood pressure measurements, all of those things are super important to me. And I just think it's things that you can measure, but not get so down the rabbit hole and like, oh my God, what's going on here? I'm failing.
Yeah.
But then bringing it back at the end of the day, do I feel good?
Right.
I mean, that's what it kind of boils down to.
Yeah, that's kind of what this energy is about.
I like that. I think
have
that's
a good day?
Capsulizing it a little more clearly is.
Well, I think for those of you who are perimenopause or menopause, you really probably understand what I'm saying. Energy is just, it's scarce.
Interesting.
It's really, that's the hardest part, in my opinion.
Like it just drains you mentally and physically,
well,
or
if
just
you think
physically?
about it, our energy hormones are tanked. Estrogen is an energy hormone. Testosterone is an energy hormone. Progesterone is an energy hormone. They're gone. They're just bottomed out.
Mm-hmm.
So to seek energy means you've got to love what you're doing in your day, because it's sort of going to fill it back up. It's going to help fill things back up on some level. And, like you and I both work out on a daily basis. I get a lot of energy by having that morning routine, that very specific, I'm going to get up, cuddle with my boys, my dogs for a little bit. Oh, yeah. It's number one.
Right.
Have my collagen and coffee. And then I'm going to get up and work out. And I know you do reading and working out too.
Yep.
That I know I've already figured out solidly that gives me energy. And I don't need to sit here and focus on this 10-pound thing. Yes, do I want to stay in a certain way? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to eat healthy? Yes. But I've locked all those in. And now it's just this energy thing I forgot to pay attention to.
Do you take any supplements that help boost those? The
I maintain
testosterone or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Rick and I both take ashwagandha, maca. I make sure I take my B vitamins and make, a special thing about all of these things is taking it during the right time of the day and with or without food is very important on all those things. Probiotics, we know. So all those things do help. I don't like to have, we've talked about this before, I don't like to have an entire shelf of supplements. And you and I know we're very picky about the brand.
Yes.
There's a lot of pieces of that brand that have got to come together for me to spend money on a supplement. Because I'd rather get it from food all day long.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, some of those things, what I like to make sure is happening is I'm optimizing. Right? You're in your 60s, I'm in my 50s. Like I'm in a mode where I want to optimize. I shouldn't be starting over and figuring out what my morning routine is or my afternoon routine is or this and that.
Yep.
I need to lock those in and make sure they're maintained.
Right.
At all times, that there's special times that you cannot, that the boundaries are around it and you cannot avoid doing that because it does give me my energy.
That's the thing. You don't seem to lack for energy though.
I know everybody says that all the time, man. Do I put on a good face?
Really?
Like a lot of us. I mean, I do. But I also, we don't pay enough attention. I do this a lot with my individual coaching clients, is I will make them track after certain things happen, a meeting, you do something. Tell me whether your energy is higher after that or your energy is lower after that. Because we're not paying attention in life as to what is driving energy up, what is driving energy down.
Yep.
The reality is if you want to maintain a good weight and maintain health, it does all come back to that energy. If you're low energy, you're just not going to maintain a good weight. Because when you get low energy, you get low discipline. And guess what? You're going to the cupboard and you're eating God knows what.
Why do you think founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs tend to push this to the backseat?
Yeah, thank you for bringing this back. Because like all of us, we think everything external is just so much more important than who we are internally. We forget to say that's actually the root of how I'm going to make business success happen. Or that's my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we glorify too much of that grind, and then as a result, these personal things that actually make you more productive and energetic, we don't glorify it enough. We're like, oh, did you work 14 hours today? Well, no. Well, what's wrong with you? What was that quote I saw the other day? If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up space.
Really? Wow.
It's like, good grief.
That feels like a lot of pressure.
And so, as a result, it's like, well, who has time to work out and exercise and eat right? I'm just going to be that Gary Vaynerchuk grind person. I think that's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
agree.
the most effective founders on the other side of that coin are the ones who have control of that and they make it a priority.
Yeah.
They get more done in a shorter amount of time than those that don't. And you know what? It starts to show. You don't see a founder for, a month or two or 6 or something. And then all of a sudden, man, what's wrong with them? They're all pasty and they're puffy and they're just low energy and they're angry. And you feel like, they're one cigarette away from the big gripper,
They're validating where they are too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And, you can do that for so long.
Yeah.
So some of those, you're going to see their business is actually performing really well, but they look like hell.
Yeah. May kill them.
That won't sustain. So until you learn how to get ahead of that, that will your business may do well for some period of time, but it will start to slow bleed at some point in time too. It will.
I like
happen.
how you put that though too, because I've pulled some of these folks aside. Say, how you doing? Say, oh, sales are great. No. I mean, how are you doing? Let's talk about how you're doing.
Right.
And it's still this taboo. Oh, I'm fine. Say, well, are you working out? Who has time? And so I'm at the stage in my life where I can be a little bit of a fatherly figure and say, you got to stop. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here.
Yep.
But you do need to make that time.
Yeah.
And
you know what, though?
so important.
I'm a little bit of a mother figure to some of the women that I do coach, right? And I do realize, too, each decade that you live, your mindset is really different.
Yeah.
So it's sort of how we approach it as balancing. Yes, you're in your 30s, and so there's a lot of surface level goals going on.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it could be a founder who just wants to hit a certain revenue goal, or could be someone on the inside of a corporation who wants to hit a new title, get a promotion, more salary. And then as life goes on, you kind of change. You make those accomplishments are behind you, and you start to have different types of accomplishments. And we understand that. All along the way, though, don't let it catch up to you that your health goes awry. Because just imagine this, as long as it took for your health to erode, it will take 3 times longer for you to get it back to the place.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it takes longer. So getting ahead of it's really critical. And that's why we bring that into what we do, is we're paying a special attention to how our founders and their leadership teams are as far as their health. Each person, how are they feeling? And I am usually looking at energy. I mean, energy and stress are sort of on opposite sides of the spectrum. And if you're stressed, I guarantee your whole health spectrum inside of you, it's gone. It's done. You're unhealthy at that point. How do you think about stress? You don't ever seem stressed to me.
Yeah, it's like you say, you put on a good show, but everybody handles it a different way, and I sometimes just view it as a motivator. So to me, when something is stressful, okay, that's an opportunity to attack and turn it into something that's an opportunity to solve versus, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening to this company? It's like, all right, this is great. Let's turn it on its head. I find that just to be more purposeful, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always that way, because you would look in the mirror and go, why are these things going? How do I fix this? What's, why? And the minute that I flipped that switch, I think it just became way more productive.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work, but even then, when you start to run into that, okay, that didn't work. It's not like you're pivoting. You're just changing course a little bit. You're working with the things you have, and you're discarding the things that just aren't working.
Yeah.
It's hard to do because only experience can help you get there. You stub your toe enough, you just realize, okay, that isn't going to work.
Yeah.
At some point, you just got to say, I'm going to absolutely change direction. But you know what? The sunk costs that go into something like that, you have to realize it's over.
Yeah.
So many people have, oh, God, I really regret that decision.
Yeah, you got to put the cards down.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Yeah. You're in the game. It's okay. Don't keep throwing chips in the pot, right? Like,
it's over. Just,
it's
move
over.
on.
Throw the cards down.
And that's been refreshing for me, because you just realize that's over. There's nothing I can do about that. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
And there's been some monumental, like $1 million kind of mistakes, not like $1,000 mistakes. But will I make those again? No.
Yeah.
Did I learn from them? Yes. And it just makes you exponentially better.
Yeah. I'm just going to go back to health for a second here. One thing that I see, it's very disappointing in this country particularly, is we're always looking for that quick fix to health.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big proponent of the basics, huge proponent. Because if you try to fix it, I cannot tell you, I'm sure you run into this too. If I'm on Instagram, how many things I run into. Oh, you're going to lose weight in no time flat, or you're going to feel better in no time flat. You're going to have more energy in no time flat. Skin's going to look better in no time flat, whatever.
Yep.
I would caution doing any of that until you've got some basics in place. And so that's why I always maintain I'm going to check my energy before and after every single day. That's going to tell me and give me the highest level of intelligence for me. And then I'm going to do something with that information. I'm going to stop if I can. We can't always stop doing what stresses us out. We can modify it, though. One thing I do see with my clients is sometimes they stress themselves out because of how they respond to negative situations or challenging situations. So I work with them a lot on, listen, if you responded differently, like we have a fairly large client and they respond to each other pretty poorly and they end up in rabbit holes and then they're all stressed at the end of conversations. And so we work with them individually, like, listen, that person can say that thing. Doesn't mean you need to jump into that negative rabbit hole and then continue with that conversation. It's all about how you respond. When I finally get an individual client over that hump, their energy does skyrocket. I mean, think about if you just responded positively, maturely, you didn't drive into that rabbit hole with that person, and you just held the bigger picture or bigger person card, you're going to feel pretty good at the end of the day. And by the way, it's going to have a lot more impact on you than everyone else. Yep. So it will have impact on everyone else, but you want to protect your energy by how you respond to negative and challenging situations. Have you seen that?
Absolutely. And it's a little trick, but when somebody goes on the offensive, which happens sometimes, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And just criticize. I think we don't listen enough. And just a little trick is just, while you're listening, is just to take a breath.
Right.
Even if someone's just super critical of something you've done or you're backed into a corner, it's just, it allows your brain to just kind of process. At the end of the day, a lot of this doesn't matter, right? The things the attacks or the things you read or anything that makes you feel just tense. But if you just take a breath.
That's right.
And you listen, it allows you to just come at it at a more mature angle. And I'd say so much of the time we spend in meetings with companies, there's just talking over each other. Everybody's talking. Everyone's talking at the same time. And it's oftentimes the quietest ones and the most calm who say and mean the most important things. It's very rare. But how many times have you been in that situation and then all of a sudden it's just quiet and they say, well, here's an observation. And everybody kind of goes, well, wow. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yep.
I just try and tell some of these folks that's just something to practice. And what does it mean? It gives you just a little bit more, back to your point, a little bit more control and a little bit more energy over the situation. And the little things turn into big things and the big things turn into accomplishments and goals and so forth. But if you just little tiny little bite-sized things.
That's right.
So much of it would be resolvable if we just listened.
It would be. And that is, yes, listen, sometimes respond back. That gives you time to think about what your response can be. And all you want to do is help the situation move forward.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that does circle back around to probably one of the most healthy practices you can give back to yourself as a gift, is to not respond to the negativity in the world by also being negative.
Yeah.
Just move forward. Try to be solution-minded. And then check your energy, because I can tell you every time that I flub up and become, the old Jennifer who doesn't act mature, enough
That's right.
to be a 51-year-old and, it doesn't respond appropriately, my energy's tanked for the day. And guess what? There's not, more than likely, I'm probably going to gain 2 pounds of bloating and water retention, right? Because your body knows your lower energy is going to risk its own survival. Yep. Your body's only job and only intuition is to survive. It will do whatever it's got to do.
That's so true.
Yep.
The GLP-1s that are out there, I think it's going to be a net positive for America, because there are obese people. There are so many diabetics, pre-diabetics, heart disease, lung disease. If we can get some of that under control with that, great. But one thing, I may have told you this story, I was probably 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah, you told me this. High school or college?
Well, college, I was really fat. But this was maybe 6-7 years ago. And I was about 195 or so. And was one of those where you had a vacation picture and it's everybody and you kind of go, oh my God, what happened? And I hadn't been weighing. I had been doing the same exercise the whole time. I'm only sharing this because the math is super easy if you understand. I never understood this, but a pound of fat is 3,000 calories.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, how do I lose a pound of fat? And my goal over 3 years was to lose that 30 pounds, get back to my high school graduation weight, which is 175. So more like 20 pounds, sorry. So it was like, okay, if I could lose 10 pounds in a year, how do I do that? Is that reasonable? To your point, everybody wants the 10 pounds this week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds this week and 10 pounds next week. I'm going to have water only, and I'm going to have grapefruit next week. And then, wow, I lost 20 pounds. And then what happens? They put it back on. And so I wanted something that would be sustainable. You use MyFitnessPal now and then, right? To track.
MyFitness, yeah. Mm-hmm. To track like your steps and stuff like that.
Oh, no. Well, there's one called MyFitness.
I also use Lose It.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured if I could lose a pound a month, that's basically 100 calorie deficit a day over 30 days. And 100 calories is not that much. But you got to figure out what your baseline is. And mine was like around 2,500 calories. All right, so make it 2,400 calories. And don't even count the exercise.
Yeah.
And in a month, I lost a pound. I was like, wow, that seems to work.
Yeah.
But to your point
your
about
expectations were spot on too, right? You said, let's try for a pound a month. Versus like 10 pounds in a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable? Can I get there? And it actually works. The point being that a lot of times in this or in business or, whatever your workout goals are, it takes a long time. And sometimes because you hit the nail on the head, we want it now. I'm going to run a marathon. I want to run it tomorrow. It's like you just can't quite do that.
Yeah.
Take it a step at a time. Trust your own process and you'll get there.
Or you're going to go to methods that are unhealthy and unsustainable.
Yeah.
And will eventually drive inflammation in your body, which is why you will tend to gain twice as much back. Because again, your body is just trying to survive. So it will lose some weight so that it survives, and then it will try to gain weight again.
Yep.
And that's a scary piece, but taking it back to executives and entrepreneurs, I think the reason we're such a stickler on making sure those individuals are so healthy is because you would be, I think when you step back and think about it, it's obvious, but in the moment, most people don't think about it. When you are not healthy, you are not effective. It is spot on.
Yep.
If you are stressed, you are not effective. If you didn't get enough sleep, you're not effective. If you're not eating right, you're not effective. You're not as effective as you can be. And I think a lot of people are like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I feel pretty effective and still only getting 2 hours of sleep or 3 hours of sleep. I said, well, have you ever tried to get 8 hours and then see how effective you are? Do you really know where the ceiling of effectiveness really is? Have you really checked with people around you? And there is plenty of studies, plenty of experience from us that if you want to be the most effective entrepreneur or executive this year, or even just individual, it's time to focus on you being healthy. And being healthy could mean things like losing weight, but I would highly encourage your health is equitable to your energy levels.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
The energy, where does it come from? How to create it, how to keep it, how not to lose it.
Yeah.
The correlation to your business is obvious. We would love to help with this. We talk to our founders all the time, CEOs, people in charge of their businesses and divisions and companies, that this is critical, not something to ignore. And we see it. It comes through loud and clear.
Yep. So if you want some more feedback from us, feel free to reach out. We'd certainly love your feedback as well.
Share with us what you're doing to keep your energy.
Yes, that would be
We'd love
great.
to hear about that.
Love it.
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Bye.